If you don't like hose, then you might want to skip this video because hose is all we're doing today. My Skyline is a GTS 4 model, which means it pretty much has an identical all-wheel drive system to the GTR.
Ugh, lovely.
And while I'm in the progress of doing a rear end refresh, I figured we may as well try replace some of these hoses. Start off by draining the old fluid out of the Attesa system and disconnecting the hoses from under and inside the boot. Then it was time to try find alternatives to buying a $500 kit, not including the hose going from pump to transmission. I also forgot my windsock for my mic, so for this part I apologise for the incoming noise. So the Attesa hose systems, these 4 hoses here, 400 Australian dollars is the cheapest I could find to get a full kit to replace these. So I said, fuck that. I don't know what I'm going to do about these elbow pieces yet. I'm still trying to find something that'll work a little bit better. These are the ones that are under the car, they go above the diff. These are also some of the more expensive ones, like this big one here I think was about $170. For $60, a meter of 3/8 hose and a meter of 5/8 hose. For the one that runs from the system to the gearbox, this is from Frenchys Performance Garage. So this is a one-piece braided line instead of having the 2-piece line that's under the car at the moment. This is all just one thing, less likely to leak. And although it doesn't follow the exact path that these ones do, it can still take a path where it clears things and doesn't end up kinking the hose. So for 60 bucks, I'd rather give this a go, and if it works, happy days. I've saved myself $340. The old clamps still seem to be in pretty good condition, so these will be getting reused. So here's our 3/8 line. That's the one that's easy. It doesn't have as much of a weird bend. It's the 5/8, which is hiding up the back here somewhere. That's going to be the one that's going to be the trouble one, to try and get it to not kink. I don't really know how to angle this or where to point it so you can see everything that's happening in here. A little snaking and playing around just to make sure it's not going to rub on anything. I can then also use the old protective rubber from the old hoses as a precaution if things move around. Once it all seems like it's in a happy place, some cuts can be made, clamps installed, and get it all buttoned up. Just checking there's no weird kinks or bubbles in the hose, but it all feels like that is secure, and we have that protective rubber on there as well, so if it does start rubbing, we should be all sweet. Next, to move on to our high pressure line. This starts to get a little bit difficult to film, but we've got a good knuckle buster in there. Alright, next one is this, but I think I might just take that whole bracket off because I don't think we reuse that bracket. It goes into a little hose clip that goes onto here. So we're replacing this whole line from up at the pump up here. It comes down to this banjo fitting for unknown reasons, why there's just a random fitting here, why it couldn't be one line. And it goes all the way there, you can see where it's sort of sagging now. And it goes into the back of our system there. Oh, do I seriously have to drop the shaft out of here to get to it? No. Oh, you're gonna be like that. No, that is wanting to strip it. Oh yeah. I should have put a towel down. And that there is our Attesa line that we're replacing. So this one's to adapt our straight ends into the back of our gearbox, but we won't assemble this yet because we'll put this into the back of the gearbox first, tighten this down, and then this has got the thread on this side, we can thread it on there, whereas if we do this now, it'll be very hard to tighten it onto the gearbox. The one I do want to assemble now is our banjo fitting. There is just enough room to come in from this backside here to go over the diff and then get onto the fitting that goes onto our little banjo section. So that is tightened up. We can tighten down the actual banjo fitting. And fingers crossed that never leaks. With the hoses now connected, the brackets to hold it up can get tightened down. The rain got just a little bit heavier to make laying in the wet, muddy ground slightly more fun. And then we can start sorting out the hoses in the boot, with my lack of fluid to complete the job. So from last night's fill up, this has actually sort of self-bled itself a little bit. It started to fill up this second chamber in the pot, but I've now got some more ATF. I've just had to pour it into this bottle because this bottle actually has like a pouring neck. And then we'll get underneath, crack some of the bleeders open, make sure we get all that air out, prime all this up, and then we should be good to start it and make sure everything works. So I don't know if the camera will focus on it, but the bleeder we're looking for is just that one there. And then we can go bleed it from the front, and then there's that little drain valve just above there, so we can use that. Stop focusing on the hose, focus on the back there please. And we'll just give that time to just gravity bleed itself. The kick panel needs to be taken out so you have access to this white clip. With the car ignition on, disconnect this clip and that's what gets the pump into prime mode. At least that's what I understood from the forum, which I will leave linked down in the description, as my word is probably not the most reliable. If you want proof of that, I didn't realise I was pressurising my bleed bottle and completely forgot to film a step of filling up the bottom half of the reservoir. But the good news is, 3 out of our 4 wheels spin, one of the dust covers is bent and grinding on a brake disc, and we also have an ABS light on. That could possibly be for the wheel that's not spinning. The good news is, our system doesn't leak.